Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel and my podcast, because we'll definitely be putting it up on Astromanics, my podcast. That is a not safe for work podcast, but I'm still going to post stuff up in there, even if it's not juicy. But if you want to hear juicy things, go there. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about the signs in astrology. This is a part of the series of WTF. The fuck is astrology? And I am going to do my best to give you short, little, digestible doses so that you can begin to learn what is this astrology stuff anyway. It's so useful. So today we're going to be going through the signs. So I will be sharing my screen when I pull up the correct screen. There we go. Boop. I only have like a million screens popping. All right, let's do this again. Boom, share that screen. All right. So this lovely screen is a screen grab of Mary and my class. WTF is astrology. You can buy tickets, they're free on Eventbrite for our monthly teachings. And if you come to our monthly teachings, you'll see this beautiful screen before you. And you will get to ask Mary and I questions if you'd like, so you can learn even more about astrology. But we go through slides and we describe what it is. And the signs is one of the things we talk about. It's a crucial part of astrology. So signs. Most people know what their sun sign is, right? Oh my God, I'm an Aquarius. Oh my God, I'm in Aries, right? Like most people know what it is, their sun sign. Not everyone exactly identifies with their sun sign. That is because houses matter. What are houses, Lacey? Watch my other video on houses. Yeah, maybe I can do that here. I don't know. I don't know if I really want. Okay. So the signs. First, we have the sign of Aries. It's the one that we will talk about first. So everyone has seen the wheel, a chart. As I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, maybe I should show a wheel. All right, yeah, show Charlie. I'll show you a wheel really quick. The wheel. This is a wheel that you can see. So yeah, this is the wheel in astrology, and it starts with Aries, depending upon. That's just usually where we start. It's a starting place, and it's where we're born. So Aries is new energy. So Aries, the first little slice of wheel that we will talk about, is Mars ruled. And we'll talk about Mars as a planet in a future video. It is the god of war. It is the god of what gives us umption. It's like what we fight for, right? It is the warrior, and Aries is the sign of the ram. And when you see two rams headbutting, right? Aries definitely headbutts with other people. Other signs will view Aries maybe at times as being a little bit aggressive, but definitely fun, quick, right? Quick, impulsive. We're quick to get angry, but then we're also quick to be all, do we need to be that angry? Usually, hopefully. When I think of Aries, I think of competitiveness, right? Aries wants to be first. Aries wants to win. Aries is competitive. I have found that I'm a double Aries, so I'm an Aries rising and moon, and I never thought of myself as competitive, but I totally am. I will totally headbutt people on things. It's just that I don't have exactly personal things attached to it, right? I don't think of it like that personally. I'm just looking for sort of what's the correct answer? What's the winning answer? What's the answer, right? Aries, winning. The next one up is Taurus, second house to Taurus. It is Venus ruled, so we have a sort of Mars counterpart here. Venus is all about attraction, love, and I'll talk about her in another video. But it's a softer ruling. It's the goddess, right? And it's the bull, right? Think Ferdinand the bull, right? Nobody's gonna move Ferdinand at all, right? And I think of farming when I think of Taurus. Taurus, a lot of Taurus people are farmers or have an interest in farming, growing their own things, crystals, things of the earth, right? But Taurus, the reason why it is so fixed is because, or the reason why it is considered stubborn is if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Start with good quality things so that you can pass down to generations, right? When you think about things growing in one spot, it takes a long time for things to grow. So Taurus is not excited about change because it wants to stay in one place so it can see things grow. Don't move me. I planted stuff here. Taurus. All right. And then the next sign that we have is Gemini. Gemini is Mercury ruled. Think quick, fast ideas. It's an air sign, right? It is the trickster, like it's storyteller. Have you ever met someone and they have like the ability to be like so witty that you're like, oh wow, right? Like you are so quick to like just know what to say next, right? They're like impressive, when you talk to them. It's the trickster, it's also the twins. So Gemini has a reputation for being sort of backstabby, but it's really not that they are backstabby. It's just they're able to hold two concepts, two complete people, twins, right? At the same time. They're able to say yes to Republican and yes to Democrat, kind of two things that would seem so polarized. They're able to be like, but I can see both, kind of a thing. And so it gathers information. Mercury, when I think of Mercury, I think of online things, right? Gathering information. I'm showing pictures on YouTube of, all kinds of how online stuff works, online communication works, right? It's connecting things, it's gathering information, it's sharing information. It is curious. Like, what do they say? What do they say? What do they say? Right? It's very fast moving, right? It's intelligence. Right. Enough said. The next sign is Cancer. And now this is ruled by the moon. Moon represents mother and it represents inner world and nurturing. So when I think of Cancer, I think of momming, nurturing, mothering, grandma-ing, right? You're thinking of roots, family, and home. You're thinking of what is cozy, what is comfortable, what is sanctuary. Now, not everyone's home is a sanctuary, right? But where Cancer is in our chart is where we wish to have a home and sanctuary, or who maybe we associate it with. But you think of nurturing, right? Think of family, think of roots, think of people who came before us. Council, right? Next we have Leo, 5th house in the sign, and Leo is leadership, right? I have pictures of leadership here. They make bridges, right? I have a picture of a hand here and people going from one part to another, and the hand's kind of a chasm. The hand is the bridge to it. Leaders, Leo tends to be like king, queen, right? Rulership. I don't work, I rule, I tell people things. Actors and actresses will often have Leo bits because they're on a stage. Leo likes to be seen, right? It has to do with creative self-expression. I want to express myself creatively and I want people to watch me do that. Leo. And then, yeah, leadership. They tend to be natural leaders because they are the sun and they are confident. All right, Virgo, next sign. When I think it's Mercury ruled, again, we have Mercury, but unlike Gemini, which was like air, fast, quick, thinking here, thinking there, Virgo is more, well, what are we going to do with that information? So it's writing, it's making like sort of tangible, holdable, detailed, prescriptive sort of energy here, Virgo. And it's the healer. So when I think of Virgo energy, I think of medical, I think of prescriptive, I think of health. It rules the 6th house. And so a lot of times people will have health problems here if they have a lot of planets here, especially if they're in the lower degree, higher degree. We'll talk about that later. But it is where we want to make healing tangible. It is where we have routines. Okay, I have thoughts, I have ideas now. How do I make a routine out of it, right? Something tangible, something prescriptive, and again, detailed. Next, we have a Libra, another Venus-ruled sign, but unlike the Earth-ruled Venus sign, we are an air-ruled Venus sign, and so she is concerned with beauty. She's concerned with social, with being. Libra is concerned with politeness, right? How to be polite, don't be rude. Not that they are not rude. They can definitely be rude, right? And Venus is about being attractive and able to get what she wants, right? And so she's going to figure out the best way to present her social case so that you will be in agreement, in harmony with her. And therefore, she's kind of constantly looking for the scales, balancing the scales. And Libra will often play devil's advocate, right? Well, what if this? What is the negative side of that, right? It'll often do that so that it can find harmony. When I think of Libra, I think of the beauty industry. Lots of Libras in the beauty industry because it makes things beautiful, right? Venus, beautiful, attractive, charming sounding, attractive to others, right? Seventh house action, think of that. But beauty industry. Also social industry, like social justice industry, right? Because there is a concern of fairness there with Libra. All right, next sign is Scorpio. So Scorpio is Mars ruled in ancient astrology, and it is Pluto ruled also. I think of those as co-rulers. They are the sign of the scorpion. Imagine a scorpion. It has pincers. If it comes out and it feels unsafe, it is ready to attack you and to guard itself, right? When it comes out of its cave or its underworld, right? And Pluto is a planet that it's a generational slow-moving planet, and it can describe where we experience crisis or like strong transformative moments in astrology. Scorpio, when I think of Scorpio, I think of vulnerability, and I also think about the challenges with vulnerability, right? Yes, vulnerability, whatever. Images, yes. So I'm looking at this picture here. There's two hands holding a little heart, and they're all like cartoony hand drawn. And there's a fragileness here, right? Well, Mars does not like to think of itself as vulnerable at all. It is clever. It waits. It is the sniper. Aries is the machine gun. Mars, Scorpio is it waits. It waits and waits until it knows and it is certain to win its prey, right? I wait for the right shot and then I shoot, right? But Scorpio has to not feel threatened before it will come out safely, right? It's where we don't want people to see us. It's deep and dark, and it has to do with transformation. It has to do with when we think of a chrysalis, a butterfly chrysalis, it has to do with the part where the butterfly is. It's not a caterpillar, it's not a butterfly, it's in between, and here is the gooey bits. It is going through a major transformation. So Scorpio, wherever it is in our chart, whatever house it's in, will describe where we experience super extreme transformation. Yes. So Scorpio, think deep, dark, macabre, vulnerability. If I don't feel safe, I'm going to sting you. I need to feel vulnerable. Sharing uncomfortable things is a sort of Scorpio handshake. They don't like BS. They want to investigate, and they want to find how far does this go? How close can I get to my objective? And it is like an objective, right? You think about Mars ruled, right? Mars just wants to win. All right. Scorpio, deep and dark and Mars ruled. All right. Sagittarius. So this is the light at the end of that dark Scorpio tunnel. Sagittarius is Jupiter ruled. Oh, I think of Santa Claus, right? It is a noble archer, right? It's half beast. It's the Only sign, I guess, that is half beast. No, Capricorn has a half beast thing too. But Sagittarius is characterized by the centaur, half human, half beast. So they are kind of lusty, but they are also human, right? They are also intelligent, right? And they also are in between two worlds, right? When I think of Sagittarius, I think of teachers. I think of students, those who love to learn, those who love to teach and must preach. I think of cross-cultural, right? This is things that govern us. We recognize that cultures are governed by different areas of the world, right? Different aspects of the world. They come from different places of the world. And are governed by our beliefs. So Sagittarius also governs our beliefs, and beliefs are part of things that govern us. It's also law and higher education, right? Things like that. Sagittarius loves festivals, and it just loves to take things lighthearted and independent. When you think about traveling, the quickest way to travel is independently or with a small group. But yes, it has to do with travel. It has to do with a fire of learning. It has to do with the fire of teaching what you have learned. It is optimistic, right? Right. It's the light at the end of the tunnel, Sagittarius. Capricorn is Saturn ruled. So this is more austere. It is a malefic. We'll talk about malefics and benefics in another video, but Saturn rules Capricorn. It is the sign of the goat, right? Something that likes to scale, likes to climb. Capricorn is very goal oriented. It loves the grind. It has an idea around hierarchy, steps. Different planets there can make it easy or less easy to take those steps. Or do I need steps, or do I think outside the steps? Fuck you, steps. Anyway. Yes, so Capricorn is the climber. And so I have a person, it has to do with careers usually, right? It's the legacy that a person's going to leave behind. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. It uses the wheel and adds upon the wheel, right? It doesn't want to reinvent things. It likes to take maturity, things that have come before, older things, older concepts, and build upon those. And that is what a Capricorn is going to do. And a Capricorn is concerned with everyone elevating, not just themselves. They do love to climb, but they also want to see everyone around them, which tends to make them a little bit altruistic in a way too. They party as hard as they work. There is that. Saturn is slow moving. So Capricorn is not concerned with moving quickly necessarily. It is concerned with moving accurately and upward manner. Think of Capricorn. Climbing, career, legacy, hierarchy. Something that is going to last, because Saturn is also concerned with lasting things. Aquarius. How about the Aquarius? So Aquarius is the next sign. Aquarius also Saturn ruled, and then also has a co-ruler in modern astrology of Uranus. Surprise, motherfucker, right? Uranus is all about surprises. It's about independence. The alien, we call it that too. It is concerned with community at large. It is the bird that flies over creation and has the perspective of more than just itself, more than just one. It is trying to take in everyone's opinion in order to make a more accurate opinion. Now, depending upon what community you are in, dictates what those fixed social understandings will be, right? So if you come from, let's say, a Republican background, Aquarius signs there will tend to be more fixed in that regard. They will compare things to the Republican way of thinking, right? If you're an Aquarius and you're fixed in the liberal way, you'll tend to think things more liberal through, right? Like things like that. If you come from those backgrounds. Aquarius does have perspective though, so it is able to sort of see more than beyond just the dichotomy, just the either or. And it's trying to figure out all of the social systems from an alien's perspective. Think of an alien, over the earth, looking at the earth and trying to learn things about the earth, right? Like, how does it all fit together? Sort of a vibe. So yeah, Aquarius is trying to figure out what does everyone think and how can we get everyone in the same communal system. Not just the wealthy, but the poor, right? Or the less privileged, right? Not just the privileged, the less privileged. Like, how does everyone work together, right? That is part of what Aquarius's job is looking for. And so when I think of that, I think of community, right? Bunch of faces, bunch of unique faces too. Aquarius doesn't care. They are unique and they embrace the unique because they realize everyone's unique in community. So that is Aquarius. And then again, Saturn ruled. It's got an eye on what works for everyone, not just the few. And then Uranus embraces independence. Okay, so we understand that people are individuals. How do we get individuals to be sort of together, right? How do we innovate and think outside the box to get everyone to be in the same system in a way? All right. And last but not least, we have Pisces. Okay. So Pisces has to do with things that don't need to be spoken, right? It's Jupiter ruled, Neptune ruled. So again, we have beliefs here. We have a spiritual vibe here. Jupiter is boisterous and optimistic, right? And Neptune is dreamy and escapey and a little bit glamorous. Pisces is attracted to many people because they are a bit dreamy, right? They tend to be good at music, good with animals, right? They're good at the arts because it has to do with the things that are spiritual. And when you think of like spiritual vibes or when you think of music vibes, music can speak to everyone with no words, right? Even if you have no words, if you've ever been listening to a song or like watching a movie and you're like, oh, the music swells and your heart swells, right? That is Pisces vibes. And so to deal with all of that and the interconnectedness of all of it, spirituality plays a huge role in a Pisces vibe. So I think of spirituality, right? Again, I have a bunch of spiritual things pulled up. What does it mean to have a spiritual life, right? What's the meaning of life? How do we transcend, right? There's an interconnectedness that's associated with Pisces, again, with music. And music can bind you together, right? When everybody's in a church and you're all singing the same music, right? Or when you're in any religion and you all have things that you chant, right? Mantras you chant that sort of lift your spirits because Jupiter is lifting, buoying, right? Jupiter also loves to teach, right? So we're also thinking of teaching, preaching. What is a great way to teach children? Through music, saying words, right? Rhymes, things like that. Things that transcend just physical things, but go into more of a subliminal space, if you will. So those are the signs one by one, and these all are grouped into modalities and elements. So the elements, right, are earth signs, right? Earth is grounded, practical, reliable. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. These people are concerned with, what is tangible, what's real, what's not going to be moving anytime soon, but practical, reliable. What is reliable? What is for sure? What is grounded? Think of the earth, right? It also means that they're not likely to, well, we'll get into that more about mutable modalities here in a second. So fire signs are the Aries, right? The Leo and the Sagittarius. So Aries, competitive, new fire, inspirational fire, fresh fire, competitive. I'm motivated to win and to motivate others to win, right? Leo, confident, the sun, right? It's going to shine. We all see the sun. It comes out during the day and we're like, hell yeah. And it touches everything and it exposes light on everything. Confident Leo, sheds light for everyone. Sagittarius, is fire that can go here or there, but right, it is inspired if it has something to teach, right? It needs to be inspired. Sagittarius. fire signs. You think of fire, you think of passion, right? You think of liveliness, aliveness. At least that's what I think of because I have so much of it. And then air signs, air and fire go together super well. Air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, right? Those are the air signs. So these people don't get bogged down with watery, heavy emotions. These people don't get bogged down by having to be practical about anything. They're having the ideas, they're observing the ideas, they're trying to gather the ideas, they're trying to see what ideas work for everyone. How do we make it work for everyone, right? Ideas, fast moving, fast paced, can change, right? On a dime. And then we have water, and we're thinking water is connectivity, right? Water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. When you think of water, water wants to be connected. It wants to feel connected to everyone. A drop of water falls into water. You can't separate the water out. You can separate grains of sand. You can't separate air so much, but even then in the water cycle, right? Air can turn into a gas, which is, or water can turn into a gas, right? When you have enough heat, things like that. And it can turn into, anyway, all the things when you think about how that all works and works together, right? Combining things together, for example, right? A fiery person with an air person might garner really fast information. They're usually tend to be very motivational people when you put them together, right? Fire, when you think of like a wildfire, it spreads quickly with air. Air is what makes that shit spread, right? So air and fire can go super good together. Earth and water, they make mud. Mud makes a practical, tangible thing. I can make something out of clay. And now I can hold this thing that I've made out of clay, right? I didn't make that out of clay, but I'm just trying to think of a tangible thing, right? They can influence each other more easily. Air and earth, a little bit harder. Air can erode earth down after a while, right? But there can be a bit of friction and a bit of frustration between two dominant air and earth signs. Water and air, right? You think of air going over and it can make ripples. It helps to make ripples in water, right? It can really push water if you have like a lot of air, but it makes ripples in water. But other than that, water is still water, right? It's like it can like affect the surface, but not necessarily the depths of water. Fire in water, water can put out fire, right? So have two people who have one has a lot of fire and one has a lot of water. Water will right, calm down the fire, right? It'll put the fire out though too. So it can make a fiery person feel frustrated. And it can make a water person feel frustrated with the fire person. Why are you so excitable? Geez, calm the F down, please. Right? So elements matter, and elements going together well or less well matter, right? And now we can see people and possibly why they don't get along or why they get along in this area, but not that area, right? That's how signs work. And then last but not least, the modalities. So fixed is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And we're thinking strong, willpower, inflexible. Aquarius is an air sign, so it's a little bit quicker, so it's a little bit more flexible sometimes, but you better come to prove because it is sort of a sciencey leaning logic, heavy logic leaning sign, right? So prove it. Scorpio is so investigative that it will be like, there's no way you know more than I know. I have investigated this. I know what's up when it comes to people's feelings, right? Or very observant. When you think of a person looking at you and observing you, right? And they're reading your soul somehow, right? That's very Scorpio vibes. They're looking for the unspoken, right? They're looking for what your emotional signs are saying, right? And then making up their mind based on that. Not lying, right? Scorpio is investigating you. It is looking at you and developing feelings of how it feels, how you're making them feel, right? is what they are operating off of and examining and looking at, so that they know what you're going to be down with and what you're not, what they can share and what they can't share. Scorpio. Leo is the sun. Are you going to change the sun's mind? No, you're not. But it fixes the Aries quickness and it fixes the Sagittarius mutableness, right? Going back and forth. Leo is their vices are their vices, right? That is the modality. It's going to shine where it's going to shine. And it's okay if you don't agree with it. Taurus, again, very fixed. We think of very, very stubborn. You're thinking of Earth here. This is Earth. This is trying to get things to grow. So don't change my soil. Don't change my earth. I have it down pat. I do not need you to change my mind about it. Thank you very much. You won't, in fact. But it is Venus, so it has an eye still on harmony and beauty, and fine quality things, right? Things that will last. That's why it's fixed, and that's what it has its eye on. Cardinal is Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. That is boss energy. That is initiatory energy. This is people who have ideas where to start things. Boss energy, fuck around and find out, right? We'll think about it later. Let's go, right? Let's go. Aries being the most of it, right? It's like, I don't know, I'm just saying things, and then Cancer wants to be the source of water. I think of raindrops, right? Also, water tends to be heavily associated with like money and an understanding of money. And Cancer people tend to be really good with understanding all things money and how those things work, the flow of it, right? Yeah. And so Cancer is also, very nurturing, all those things. Think mom vibes. Mom will know what to do. Cancer, right? Libra, this is initiatory. They're trying to figure out the balance of things, right? And so that's why they're playing devil's advocate. What is sort of the most sure answer here, right? And that's why it's another Venus sign. So we're concerned with beauty, right? What is socially acceptable to everyone? And then weighing those scales and asking a lot of questions and trying to figure out where everyone's page is even at. Capricorn, this is cardinal Earth. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, but what else can we do with that wheel? The wheel can be added in these ways, right? I didn't make the foundation of this temple, but maybe temples, but I didn't make this foundation of this house, but I can build on it, right? What do we need to build on, right? And then I got to grind to make it, right? To make this house. So these are the people who are initiatory, quick thinkers, quick movers, tend to be able to move on quickly. Capricorn and Cancer being the slower elements of earth and water, they are going to be more concerned with slower moving, less fiery, more we're going to be moving everyone with us. They have an eye on everyone with us, whereas Aries and Libra, Libra is concerned with others and Aries is concerned with self. So Aries is like, well, I know where I'm going. Anyway, that's and then mutable is the last bit of the signs here. Mutable is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. It's go with the flow, help create change. Gemini again is here, there, right? Everywhere. Curious, finding things out, finding out information very fast, figuring out puzzles. Virgo is Earth, mutable. It goes with the flow too, right? It's like, oh, if that's not of practical use, well, then let's do something else. What is of practical use? It needs to be of use. So if something's not of use, Virgo will be like, fine, forget it. Let's do this other thing. Let's be of use. Sagittarius is mutable as well. How do you learn, right? Because Sagittarius is concerned with learning and teaching. How do you learn? So if you learn best this way, Sag will teach you that way. If you learn best this way, this other direction, Sag will teach you that direction. They're concerned with teaching you. They're concerned with you understanding the things that govern us, right? That's what they're concerned with. So yay, they want to teach you. And how do you learn best? That is how I want to teach you. Pisces is ultimate floating, right? It's ultimate go with the flow, sort of ultimate and have no plan exactly. I'm going with whatever is popping here. Music, when you think of jamming in a band together, you can't be me, right? Exactly. You have to be listening to everyone else around you so that it sounds good together, right? Because it's water that is connected. And when you hear like a good band and everyone is listening to each other, you're like, this is so good, right? So that is Pisces and the mutable. Oh, are we going? Are the horns going? And the horns doing its own thing, right? A part of the band. Now we can jump in with the piano, right? And you're kind of playing with each other, and you have to be willing to pull back, go forward, pull back, go forward, depending upon the groove of the thing. And I know that makes sense too, y'all. And so yeah, that's why it is spiritual. Okay, so that concludes the signs, and then we'll be doing the planets. And for that, I think I'm gonna have to do characters. So I don't know what I'm gonna do that one exactly next, but it'll be fun whenever it is. Thank you oodly badoodly much for joining me and for learning astrology. Again, sign up for our moon mail. That way you can join our classes. WTF is astrology. And you can ask us questions and figure things out. It's so good. All right. I will talk to you all later. Bye.